Migrant children continue to arrive at the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center in Dallas. It's been set up as a holding area between overcrowded border control facilities and full refugee shelters.
We are building safe, orderly, and humane ways to address the needs of vulnerable children.
With around 1,500 children in Dallas and nearly 11,000 in refugee centers across the country, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary tried Sunday to clean up what some see as mixed messaging.
The message is quite clear: do not come. The border is closed. The border is secure.
Officials say they are expelling single adults and families because of the pandemic.
They are just seeking to survive, and that's why their parents let them embark on this dangerous journey.
25 years ago, Samira Page crossed the Rio Grande with her family, fleeing from Iran and seeking safety in the U.S. Now she runs Gateway of Grace, which will have dozens of volunteers helping at the convention center this week. Many are refugees themselves.
That's really the beauty of it, that refugees are going to serve these migrant children and be, a healing presence to them.
Advocacy groups say most of the children arriving are coming from El Salvador and Guatemala.
We are not talking about political issues. We are talking about human beings.
Caseworkers will try to get each child reunited with any family already in the U.S., and if they can't, the children move to a longer-term facility.
We're dealing with a dismantled system, and we did not have the ordinary safe and just transition from one administration to another.
Dallas is receiving $8 million for the 75-day lease. Future events will keep them from extending beyond that, but it's doubtful the issues along the border will end anytime soon. In Dallas, I'm William Joy.